Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisdom Save Podcast. I'm Ken.
You know who I am.
Oh, okay.
I'm Hannah.
Yeah, hi. Very intimidating. Yeah. So, hi. We have been, we've been busy, the last couple of weeks, week and a half-ish. It's finally, died down a little bit because, our work life has caught up to us. But we recently discovered a very fun Switch game. Did we not, Hannah?
Oh, yeah, we developed a Monster Hunter addiction.
Addiction is maybe putting it a little lightly.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were going to say that was, pulling it on too strong, and I was like, absolutely not.
No, it is not. I mean, there were several days where I slept about 2 hours, and then went and did, a whole, 7-8 hour shift at work, and then came back to just play Monster Hunter for 14 more hours. So,
Well, not to mention, as a person who already has a really fucked up sleep schedule.
Oh, yeah, you're nocturnal. Again, you kind of, you corrected it, but I feel like the thing is with your sleep schedule, I feel like you never actually correct it. I'm just not yet.
Schedule is putting it on heavy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I'm just not perceiving it correctly. The times when I assume that you've corrected your sleep schedule is just the parts where you have overtaxed your sleep schedule to the point where now you are in a cycle of being awake during the day and asleep at night.
Yeah.
But then eventually you kind of just push it back by a half hour at a time, slowly but surely, and then you get back to being up only when it is dark and asleep only when the sun is in the sky.
Yeah. Eventually I'll push it to a point where I'm finally actually normal as to other people's perception.
Sure.
But it never stays that way. But also, as someone whose sleep schedule is naturally just absolutely fucked.
Sure.
My sleep schedule is particularly fucked still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is it? Monster Hunter didn't really do you any favors.
Yeah, it was to the point where we'd stay up all night playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Which
is normal for me.
Yeah.
But then
staying up playing video games or watching stuff is not crazy.
Sorry.
Damn, girl, you are yawning.
I know, I can't stop. I probably needed my monster before we started, but...
Oh, no. You're doomed.
But then we would stay up for, part of the morning playing Monster Hunter 2.
Oh, yeah.
And that's my bedtime. And so I would,
7 a.m.? Oh, time to sleep.
No, 7 or 8 a.m. It's time to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But then we would push it further than that, so then I slept all day.
Yeah.
Normally I go to bed at, 6 or 7 in the morning.
Right.
And then I wake up at, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
How many hours is that?
6 to, 2?
It's 7 hours.
That's 8. 6 to 2 is 8.
Yeah.
6 to 3 is 9. 7 to 2 is 8.
So, yeah, I get normal... And then I do my afternoon, which is my morning, and then I spend the rest of the night awake.
Yeah.
But then I did Monster Hunter, and it made me stay up for most of the morning, so then I would sleep through the afternoon into the night.
Oh, God.
Except for when I had to go to work, and then I would go to work on 2 hours of sleep and be exhausted.
Yeah, I did at least one... No, I did 2. I did 2 shifts like that, where I'd gotten, sub 4 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And, 4 hours, I've done before, that's not the worst thing in the world. 2 hours was rough.
I do that all the time.
I basically got a power nap in. That was, a 7.5 hour shift, and that day was crazy, and, everybody was, exhausted at work,
mm-hmm.
and, there was a bunch of shit to do. Oh, that was a bad day.
Well, that's the thing, is my work isn't hard. I can do it on 2 hours. It's not
Sure.
a big deal. But, then we'd come home and we'd be like, okay, well, then we need to, not play Monster Hunter today or something.
Yeah.
And then Brandon would come home and be like, Monster Hunter? We'd be like, yeah, Monster Hunter. But we're not doing it for a long time. We're going to do Monster Hunter for, 4 hours. Yeah. And then we would get to the 4 hour mark and we'd be like, we could do a little bit more.
Couple more hunts.
And then next thing you know, it's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's why we didn't have a podcast last week. That's what we were trying to get to.
The point we were trying to get at is that, and I kind of like I sort of put like a subtle nod to it because I had a strong feeling that we were just going to be playing Monster Hunter and not recording episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like in the last episode. If any of you read the descriptions, I don't know if you do, but if you read the descriptions, I put in a thing like if you're playing Monster Hunter, like happy hunting, and that was kind of like my way of saying, just in case we disappear for a little while, this is a clue.
Yeah, this is
like,
where we went.
This is the breadcrumb trail I'm leaving behind.
We were on the hunt.
Absolutely. But yeah, so that's kind of actually weirdly enough the theme of my episode this week.
Monster Hunter?
Yeah, Monster Hunter. Actually, I kind of wanted to like talk about it in general for people who like don't know anything about it. Which up until about a week and a half ago was me. Because I've never really played, besides like a tech demo of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate a long time ago, I've never actually played a Monster Hunter game. Except for, besides the demo, and I played it and I was like, this is kind of slow and clunky and I don't understand it.
Right.
And so I just kind of gave up on it. But genuinely speaking, I don't think that I have like hyper fixated on something as hard as this, since like this is on a small scale still because it's only been out for like 2 weeks or so.
Yeah,
we've only had it for a short period of time, but like for anyone who knows anything about me, some of my hyperfixations last my entire life. Some of them, like, they were moments of my history. I don't know where Monster Hunter falls, but like,
well, it's yet to be seen.
It's pretty much like Pokemon, Dungeons and Dragons, definitely Guitar Hero, Kingdom Hearts for a period of time. I've mostly like weaned off of that and gotten to the point where it's just like I really like those games and I want to play through them all, but like I'm not like chomping at the bit, frothing at the mouth to get every inch of Kingdom Hearts content I could possibly get.
Right.
Monster Hunter's getting there. Pokemon and D&D, of course.
Yeah,
of
always.
Course. That's all I want in my life. But that's the thing, is that like I'm the kind of, I mean, as someone who is like riddled with ADHD symptoms, such as myself, hyperfixation is a pretty common one. And so there are some things that just happen to me in my life, and then it just kind of becomes like the most important thing in my existence. Like not like including like basic like life necessities like eating, drinking, breathing. They kind of like fall behind whatever the fixation is.
Oh, absolutely. I don't
sure.
think they've ever been at the forefront for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing is like you kind of get it, and I think in that way it's like that makes it easier to kind of just be like, all right, we're just going all in on this,
right?
Because because
I will absolutely sacrifice anything for things I hyperfixate about.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing is.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Ken will be like, oh well, like.
I will sacrifice my personal well-being, but responsibilities I struggle with.
Well, the thing is it's like it was like for D&D when I first started. I'm like, I would kill a man to play Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. You're like, okay, but like we should probably play for like 6 hours and then sleep. And I was like, how about we play until we like can't stay awake?
Yeah, until we're actually unconscious.
Until we're forced to be unconscious. Yeah. And you're like, no, we should probably like play for a few hours and then stop. And I'm like, how about blood sacrifice to never sleep?
Yeah. What dark god must we make a deal with to never have to stop playing this game?
Yeah. Like, you're like, oh, we usually play D&D, and then we'll, like, stop halfway through and get dinner. And I'm like, and how about we don't fucking do that?
Yeah.
That's an hour of D&D that we're skipping for food. Play at the fucking table and eat while you play, you fucker.
It was definitely a very different experience when like we first got you into the game, and then like you really started to get into it, and like because I was very used to that style of playing. It's like, oh, I would typically be like, we'd play like once, probably every 2 weeks, maybe a week if we're lucky, but maybe once every 2 weeks I would play. And, like, we would do, like, I'd invite everybody over who was a part of whatever party I was running at the time, and we'd have these big, long, like, marathon sessions where they'd be like 10 to 12 hours long, and we'd like take a break halfway through the game to like go like take like an hour, 2 hour break to go like get food and just like chit chat and socialize while we eat and stuff like that. And then like once everybody was done and kind of settled in, we would work our way back into the game. And like that was what I was used to doing. And then, like, we started playing, like, mostly at night, like, after our work shift, so, like, a long break wasn't really feasible, and, like, people had already had dinner, and also, like, I'd be like, yeah, we could, like, take a break, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, yeah, good point. And so it kind of, like, it shifted pretty quickly into, like, no, we just, like, now we don't have the big, like, 10-hour marathons as much as I used to do, but...
Well,
like,
it's harder to find a free day.
Yeah,
as an
true.
adult.
That's very true.
So just picking a day and doing it after our shifts at work every day, the same day a week, is more feasible. Plus,
yeah, exactly.
We got lucky and it happened to be a day where most of us have it either off or we get out early. And I like it so much better just like bringing snacks. Like, just bring your food with you. Or like bring like Kyle and Ryan do chips and like drinks.
We bring
and then I'll bring like candy and like weird bags of meat.
Oh yeah, with your jerky,
my jerky
nuggets,
and
teriyaki jerky nuggets.
Yeah, and then we just like we'll play like that and we'll just eat throughout. Yeah, it's like if you're hungry, then have chips.
But that's the thing is that like I find that I don't really ever eat. Because when I'm DMing, like, I don't, like, I'm like...
We put snacks behind the screen for you.
Oh, I know you do. It's just, like, I'm never going to have an opportunity to be like, oh, I'm going to go reach and grab this chip. Because, like, I'll go to do it, and then someone turns and, like, I want to talk to this NPC. And I'm like, all right, cool, I have to do a Scottish brogue with Doritos in my mouth. Like, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Do it. Do it.
I'll drink, because I can deal with that quick. But, like, I can't, like, chew and do accents and shit.
That's how I used to do it when I DM'd.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like it works. It works for some people. Just like I can't.
It's just because I didn't give a fuck. I was like, and plus my players were like, Hannah, you're not eating, and I'd be like, okay, that's fine, but like I need to do this scene, and they're like, eat.
If I was desperately hungry, I would eat.
Yeah.
But like,
well, we usually make sure we eat like dinner beforehand anyway.
Like the thing, it's never really been a big deal. It just means I eat less Doritos, which like whatever. Like, that's fine.
They're right in front of you. I always make sure we put the blue bag in front of your screen.
Oh, I know you're there. I'm not... it's not a criticism.
The purple bag goes by Ryan, the blue bag goes by you, and the red bag goes by Kyle.
Yep. Respectively, their favorite Doritos.
Yep. Respectively, everyone's favorite Dorito.
That's
goes
perfect.
in front of their face.
That is a good point.
And then I take a little from every bag.
Yeah, well, because you're a what's the word? You're
Gemini.
You're a Gemini. I was gonna say Renaissance woman, but Gemini works.
What does Renaissance woman mean? That I'm just a master of all trades?
Yeah,
jack of all trades?
You're very well rounded. You're someone who's like a Renaissance person is someone who just like knows very much about everything that's going on in the world. Mm-hmm. So. I should say, I was about to segment over to something else, but we're laughing because in order to stop the obnoxious ferret sounds in the background...
We've talked like the last 5 episodes about how Peach will lay on her back and drink.
And drink water loudly, like, but only when we are recording a podcast.
Literally only when we're going to do the podcast. They saw us setting up, and they started drinking, like, consistently.
Yeah.
Just drinking.
So in order to get them to stop making sound... we took their water, but we let them drink some water, so they had plenty of water.
They were drinking, so they had plenty of water before.
And then we took their water bottle, so that for just the time we were recording...
Once we're done recording, I'm going to put it back on the cage, but I took it off so that they couldn't drink throughout the podcast.
Right. And Peach has now found the string that holds the water bottle to the cage and is currently engaged in a long process of wrapping herself in it and or maybe attempting to hang herself? I'm not really sure.
She's trying to shred it. She just got out of it.
Yeah,
She's a noodle. She can get out of whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is like She, like, I don't think she can strangle herself with it. She's literally just a neck. Like, she's a neck with
She's
legs.
a long neck with legs.
Yeah, like, she can't strangle herself. She's just one tube. But still, like, we thought taking the water bottle away was going to be a great way to make less noise happen. And she's like, hey, Mom and Dad, wouldn't it be great if I fucked your whole thing up, but, like, in my own way?
Yeah, she's an asshole.
I love her.
But now she's laying in bed staring at us because she's pissed.
Yeah, she's mad because she can't. Well, because the thing is, she's hitting the thing because the strings because she wants to fuck around with the water bottle.
Yes.
But the water bottle's not there.
But the thing is, she literally just drank for 15 minutes straight, so she's not thirsty.
No, she just wants to fuck around with the water bottle.
She just sees us recording and us talking and, like, knows that now it's time for her to fuck with the water bottle.
Yeah, because she knows that. Because she knows that if she does it, she'll get attention.
Yeah.
Because she loves attention. Because you're like a Leo or something, aren't you?
She was born in October. She's a Scorpio.
You're a Scorpio? Oh, such energy from you. Malice in your heart, you beautiful
And Noodle was
bastard.
born the day before Christmas. I think she's a Sagittarius.
Yeah, she'd be a Sagittarius.
She's a badass.
Yeah. Noodle doesn't give a fuck. She's too cool for school.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna start squonking. You know they are.
No, that's it. If Peach picks a fight with her, then they'll start squonking. But
What if they were companions in Monster Hunter?
if they were companions in Monster Hunter,
Yeah, like what? Like would you want? Now here's the thing: if our ferrets, if specifically our ferrets, could be in Monster Hunter, would you want them to be like slightly bigger than normal sized companions, like the Palicos and Palamutes are, or would you want them to be straight up monsters, like big ferret, like chonker? I have a preference.
I feel like having them as companions would be better.
Yeah, I agree. I would want the ability to ride my Danger Noodle into battle.
Yeah.
Just like get Noodle, just put a cool looking saddle on Noodle's back, and then just like
Take her into battle.
Yeah, just ride her into battle. Yeah.
Palicos and Palamutes and the companion thing, by the way, for people who don't know, because lots of people probably don't. When you play Monster Hunter, you're a monster hunter. You are a regular person who hunts down monsters.
Yeah.
And you have, up until this game, you only had Palicos.
Yeah, which, and to my understanding, because I noticed that when we mostly played multiplayer. And when we were playing in multiplayer, our Palicos weren't really with us.
Well, because we already had a giant group of people. See,
Yeah.
the thing is, they give you Palicos so that they can help you on missions.
Yeah.
They get, like, abilities
they're
they
like-
can do. They can heal you. They can fight by you. They can.
They're like solo player helpers.
Kind of, yeah. But when you're in a giant group of people together, they don't come with you because you already have a bunch of actual people to help you. They're not
Right.
really that helpful.
Yeah, and Palicos they're literally just like a large...
Oh, they're
group
big
of-
cat.
Yeah, they're big cats. They're cats that are like...
Knee high.
Yeah, and they have like... They can like use weapons and they wear armor. And like you can have like train them in different skills and they can fight by your side and stuff like that. You kind of get to design your own. So like...
You didn't used to get to design them.
That's really cool. I didn't know that was a new addition.
At least not back in the games that I've only played the ones on the 3DS.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So,
like, we don't know if, like, the PS4 one, maybe.
or if in, like, fucking...
Which I'm kind of thinking about maybe picking up the PS4 one.
Whatever it was, like, Monster Hunter World. I don't know if you could do it in Monster Hunter World.
And, like, what was what's the PS4 one? Is it, like, Iceborne?
Yeah,
or something?
Ice something.
Yeah.
It's a cold game.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you could do it in those games or not. But I knew that in the games I played, where I found Monster Hunter, you couldn't do it.
Sure.
But also, I'm pretty sure Palamutes are very new.
I do think they're brand new to this game, yes.
They're basically
look it
a
up.
big dog you can ride on.
Fuck yeah.
And they're my fucking favorite thing ever. Like, honestly, if... and this is the thing that happened, is I knew this game was coming out. Mm-hmm. And Brandon came in my room while I was playing something. I was playing a different game. I think I was playing...
You might have been playing Stardew.
I think I was playing Stardew Valley. And he came in, he was like, "Are you gonna get the Monster Hunter?" And I was like, I don't know. The only thing I remembered about it is they had those, like, the Shining style Japanese twins.
Oh yeah, the two the Shrine Maidens.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know. It looks fine, but the thing was is I also had like a pre-existing thing about playing Monster Hunter afterwards. Like I loved the game, but also like uh when I first got it, nobody or after playing it for like a little bit, people stopped helping me fight things.
Oh yeah, I know the story.
And so I stopped playing myself. That and other reasons. But so I was like, I don't know, like no one's really gonna probably like help me play the games. I really don't want to play it like on my own. You kind of need people to help you.
Sure.
And Brandon's like, but you get to like kill monsters and we can play together. And I was like, yeah, but meh. And he's like, and you get to ride on a puppy.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, ride on a puppy, you say?
Yeah, what is this? What does that mean? Well, no, because that was the thing too. Is that I remembered the game like it was weird because I almost feel like we were kind of like there was almost like a Destiny element to it because like I wouldn't have looked at a Monster Hunter game ever, and that Nintendo Direct that came out months ago.
Yeah.
Where they were like, hey, Monster Hunter Rise, you should check this game out. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And they showed it off for the first time. I remember watching that cutscene and going, huh, you know, that kind of looked neat. Like, I don't think, like, I had already decided, like, a long time ago, like, I've seen Monster Hunter games come out. And I was like, nah, like, not interested, not going to play it.
Right.
Like, I just ignored it. But that one, for whatever reason, I was just like, no, I can kind of get into that. I feel like I like that. And I was already thinking about maybe kind of picking it up. But since I knew it was a multiplayer game, I wasn't going to do it unless both of you did.
Right.
So it was kind of like, it was almost like good fortune that Brandon walked in that day and was like, you guys going to get Monster Hunter? Because I feel like him just saying that, I was like, I mean, I wasn't until just now.
Right. Well, the thing is,
now I'm definitely gonna.
He told me I could get a dog and that I could design the dog and that like you could make it like personalized with different features, different colors and stuff.
Right.
And that I could ride on it to go kill monsters. And I was like, okay, I'm in. And I literally bought it the moment he told me that. And then
that's true.
We stayed up for like an hour making our characters and making the cats and making the dogs.
Yeah.
And then we went and tried to kill our first monster. And
that was the Arzuros, right?
The Arzuros, the big badger thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of like a badger bear. A lot of the monsters I find are like basically one animal, but really large and kind of also
kind of
a
mixed
little
with
bit
a
of a different animal. Yeah, like it's a badger, but also kind of a bear.
It's like a badger bear.
Yeah. Shout out to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Right. And we couldn't beat it. Just us two. Like,
oh yeah, that's true.
We may, I don't know if we did, but we may have killed it eventually, but we had to try like 3 full times before we could kill the first thing.
So I don't think you did. Because I remember you guys being like, we need to check this quest off when we did it together.
We might have tried it twice. And then when we got you in on it, we killed it on the 3rd try. Like when we got you.
Yeah.
We killed it. Which we have gotten much better at doing. Like now I can kill an Arzuros on my own.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing that I think was one of the most enticing things about like Monster Hunter to me was that when I first played the demo, I think it was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, like way back. Mm-hmm. I like went off to do this mission, and then there was this big thing, and I was like hitting it, and it was kind of slapping the shit out of me, and I had no idea what I was doing, and I felt like my attacks didn't do any damage. But it is a really, really like unique and like creative kind of customization system where it's not like a traditional role-playing game where you level up and stuff. You just kind of kill monsters, and then they're really, really hard, even though they're low level, because you're brand new to the game, you don't really know what's going on. But you kill them, and you get pieces of them from harvesting them.
Yeah.
And you can turn those pieces into armor.
And weapons.
Armor and weapons. And the armor and weapons made out of the things you killed make you better.
Yeah, so then you can kill bigger things and get parts from them.
Yeah, and then you learn your combos, you learn positions, you learn how to use items like traps, you learn how to build your armor sets for certain skills so that you can get knocked back less, or like regain health faster, or give yourself resistances to the right elements by being able to predict what monsters you're going to be fighting, what their elements are.
Plus, as you go through, you like go through maps and get a bunch of different things from harvesting, like minerals and like herbs and like bugs and stuff from the terrain.
Right.
And then you can make traps and you can make bombs and you can make what is it, the sonic bombs or whatever, the flashbangs and stuff.
And like the sonic ones, like and that's the thing, is like you get those sound bombs that like are mostly not that useful, except like you fight all those tunneling enemies that like dig underground or like sink into mud, and you can shake them right out of it. So it's like you learn how to utilize like and then like
real fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing that I enjoy about it the most is that like, and like I know this term gets thrown around as kind of like a meme in the gaming community, but it's the Dark Souls of like monster gathering
of like Nintendo.
Games. Yeah, like
oh no, I think Dark Souls is on the Switch, isn't it?
Dark Souls is on the Switch, yeah, but I mean that in the sense that, and like let me like pare that metaphor back a bit, in the sense that like it is a game that from the beginning to the end of the game, you're fighting monsters in different tiers, but the monsters never really change their difficulty. A 1-star that we were having immense amounts of difficulty with is literally just as strong as a 1-star that we would fight solo now.
Yeah.
They're the same thing. The difference is we've learned how to play better. We've learned how to use the environment and the items and the weapons and armor crafting system to our advantage. And we've learned how to prepare for our opponents better than what we did before. Mm-hmm. We've just, like, you slowly but surely, the more you play the game, you just get better at it naturally. And then those accomplishments when you do beat something big feel incredible.
Yeah.
Because you're like you get to the point where like you go back and like we had times where it's like you have 50 minutes to complete it, and we were doing like 35-minute clears of like 1-star monsters, like 35-minute Arzaroses, or like 30-minute Acnosams, like little dinky monsters. And now it's like we can clear like Tetranodon, which is a 2-star, that big like crocodile kappa guy. We can do that in like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is insane, but it's because, you know, like we'll see it, we'll let it charge at us, someone will put down a shock trap, we'll blow our ultimates on it while it's got the shock trap, it comes up, somebody wire bugs it, we jump on the top, we slap it around, it falls over, we hit it a bunch more times. I have my hunting horn, so we keep our buffs going. Like we know how to interact with the game and interact with the monsters in it. And it really, like, one of the neatest things about it that I love about the combat system so much is being able to interact with the environment. Nothing feels more satisfying, even if it's really not that effective against some things. Nothing feels more satisfying than when we're fighting an enemy close to a cave wall, and he fucking, like, charges at me and launches my ass into the air, and because you can do that thing where when you get launched, you can do the wire bug recover.
Yeah.
And the wire bugs are a new thing in Monster Hunter Rise. It's basically like you throw a bug with a silk line, and you can, like, zip line to it, kind of like your Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so, like, nothing feels better than when, like, I'm recovering in midair, and I wire bug, and then I fucking wall run along the wall with the wire bug, and then flip off of it, and then just bring the hammer down on the thing's head when it just, like, there was no way I had enough, like, control over the game when we were first starting to ever be able to do anything like that. I barely knew how to work the wire bug. And being able to, like, recover from getting knocked down by just cold cocking one of the monsters in the skull with a big aerial hit, it's like you briefly see God in that moment. It's the coolest thing.
Well, that's also something we haven't talked about, is that there's a bunch of different weapons you can use.
Yes, there's like 14, right?
Yeah.
We've only really used like 3, kind of.
Well, me and Brandon have played the game before.
Right. That's true. I've never really had any experience with anything besides, like, I think maybe the Sword and Shield in the Monster Hunter 3 demo, but I don't remember it.
But either way, me and Brandon knew which weapons fit us best already.
Right.
I do dual blades, and Brandon does sword and shield.
Yeah.
And that's just, we picked them back up as soon as we turned the game on, because I knew I wasn't gonna. I tried the bow, like the regular bow.
Well, because also you were playing Holly, like you were
Yeah.
playing a D&D character, and she is a master archer.
And so I wanted to try and see if I was good at the bow, which I was not.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of weird.
I feel, the thing is, like, I'm not a huge fan of ranged combat in this game.
See, the thing is, I can usually accustom to most bows in games, but that one, like, it was a little more complicated for my taste.
Sure.
And so I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go with the dual blades and, like, do alternate reality Holly where she was actually good at swords.
Sure. That makes sense.
And, but then Ken joined us the next day, and he was like, I don't know what I'm good at, or, like, what weapons are good for me. I was thinking about sword and shield, and I was like, well, Brandon's doing sword and shield.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I don't really like to do the same thing that other people are doing.
Yeah, and
I want to do my own thing.
So I was like, you can do that, but also Brandon's on sword and shield already, and he's like, okay, well, maybe I'll do the dual blades, and I was like, I'm doing those.
Yeah. I like swords. What are you gonna do?
And so he took a period of time where he tried out every single weapon.
Yeah.
And he he landed on the hunting horn.
I did. So, I mean, and the thing is, like, I liked the idea of, like, some of the change-up weapons, because you could do different styles. I tried the switch axe. We did a hunt where I used the charge blade.
Yeah, we did 3 different hunts where you tried 3 different weapons.
Yeah, I tried the charge blade in one. I liked it. Not as much as I like the hunting horn, by a lot, which is very surprising to me because it's very not my style in most games. I did one where we used the insect glaive. And the insect glaive, my general opinion on it was like, this is a really, really amazing, fun, and interesting weapon to use for someone who isn't me. Because I don't have the patience to learn how to do it, but I've seen YouTube compilations of it recently, and you can literally fucking fly with that shit. That shit's
crazy. I've
crazy.
seen people do that. It's real fun.
Yeah, insect glaive is nuts.
But
the hunting horn, the best way to describe it is, like, there are some weapons that are pretty straightforward. They have lances, they have axes, they have hammers, swords, all the things you'd expect to have in a regular game where you hunt giant monsters. And then there's the hunting horn,
which is basically, like, for some reason it looks like a giant guitar.
It takes on different instruments. Right now I'm using the heavy bagpipes. So it's literally a giant bagpipe. But there's been, like, a couple that were guitars. There was one that was like a more Japanese style guitar, like a shamisen or something.
Yeah.
There was one that was like a trumpet kind of thing that I was using at one point. But they're basically like, it's an instrument. And it hits very similar to a hammer. It's a it's a slower weapon.
It's like a bard, but if you hit people with your guitar.
Yeah, it's like a bard and a barbarian multi-classed in D&D.
Yeah, barbarian.
Yeah. You're like, it's a hammer, and there's a lot of wind up to your attack. It's a very slow, deliberate, hard to maneuver, like, it's a tank weapon. It's a bruiser weapon. It's not a weapon for someone if you played an MMO before, it's kind of like the weapons that a tank would wield, as opposed to like a DPS, like fast, agile, like tricksy weapon. But the neat thing about it is that there are 3 different types of attacks. You can either like do a big overhead slam with the X button, you can do like a sweeping side attack with the A button, or you can do like a backhanded swing, or in some cases like an overhead aerial swing by pressing both at the same time. And those are blue notes, red notes, and green notes. And each different horn has a number of different party buffs, ability upgrades that are attached to each of those note combinations.
Like, he's had one where he could heal us. He's had them where when they roar, they can basically, like, freeze you for a period of time.
Yeah, if the monsters roar, if you're close enough to them, they'll stun you. And I have, like, one that's called Sonic Barrier, which is if I have the Sonic Barrier up, we can resist the stunning effect. But it's weird because, like, it seems like a big, heavy tank weapon, but that's kind of like most of the weapons. You're either fast, agile, and hit a bunch of times, or you're big, chunky, and hit a few times real hard. And that's kind of how all the weapons in, or ranged attacks. Those are the three ways that weapons in Monster Hunters really work. And this one lets you kind of be a bard in the sense that you, like, I will attack certain numbers of times with certain combinations of notes, and it'll activate my buffs. And if I attack enough times, I can do this infernal melody, which is like a concert that plays all of my music together, and then all the buffs go off at once, and also they get a massive attack boost. So, it was interesting because, like, all of a sudden I'm this big, plodding, tanky, and I'm not that kind of player in most games. I like to attack quickly, I like to attack from a variety of different angles, I like lots of, like, speedy things. I'm not a big, like, slow, plodding attacker, but, like, I just thought this weapon was so fascinating. Like, the way that they were able to work, like, a support class into a game like Monster Hunter, where otherwise you wouldn't really see it as something that was really doable with that structure.
Well, I mean, they've always had, like that kind of dynamic, even with, like, the little animals that you carry around.
Like, well, yeah, but that's kind of my point, is that, like, in an average, like, the thing is, this game is kind of like, it's a weird niche. This game kind of does something that in other games that I've played, I've never really seen before. I'm sure there are other games that are similar to Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played any of them. I've never played anything really like this. And that's what makes it so neat to me, is, like, I assumed it was just a game where there were big monsters, and you went and you hit the big monsters a lot of times, and then they died.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the game.
Right.
But there's this whole intricate system to, like, you don't have classes and you don't have levels.
Oh, yeah, because you were like, oh, how do you, like, pick your class? And I'm like, you don't.
Well, that was the thing, is that, like, that was my interpretation of it, is I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to pick this weapon, and then that's, like, my class, right? Because that's how, and you're like, no, just pick up a different weapon. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, if you want, like, you level that weapon up pretty much.
Yeah, in a way, but like, not even leveling it up. It's like you fight monsters and then get parts to make the weapon better.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. As leveling up that weapon, I mean, like, you upgrade that weapon.
Yeah.
Like, you pick that weapon, you improve it, you upgrade it, you, like, you make different versions of that weapon. But if you want to, when you're, like, in level, like, 5-star quests, like, which is much higher than where you start off.
Yeah.
You can change your weapon if you want to, but then you're starting with the fucking shitty one they give you,
the
and
basic Kamura village stabber.
Yeah, and so you have to then upgrade them and, like, make them better.
Right.
Which, at that point, should be easier because you have a bunch of shit.
Yeah, because your armor's still really good at that point.
Well, also, you have a bunch of parts. Like, you have probably, like, most of the materials you need to upgrade those weapons.
That is a very good point.
So it shouldn't be like, oh, now I have to start the whole thing over. It's like, now I'm going to try and get what I can out of it, and then if I need to upgrade it further, I need to decide if I actually like this weapon or if I want to go back to what I had.
Right.
But that was also something that I realized, too, is that Ken is mostly, like, on the ground, unless he's being thrown by a monster.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't like to be in the sky.
And so there was a point where we'd played for, like, a few days, and then eventually Brandon was the one that had to go to sleep because he had work after a 4-day weekend.
Right.
And so me and you went to go to the training ground because we were trying to figure out my my wire bug move.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because everyone gets one of those moves you can use with those wire bugs. They're not just for catching you or slinging you around the area. Yeah. You can also use a weapon attack with them.
You can use them for movement, dodging, and repositioning, but you can also use them for special attacks. Exactly.
But I had no fucking idea how to do mine, and so we were like figuring it out. But also, Ken was like using all of his like attacks and showing me like what he could like do, and I was like, "Have you like seen me around the battlefield a bunch?" And you're like, no, not really. I haven't had I'm looking at the monster most of the time. And so I'm not usually, like, watching where you guys are. Which is, understandable. And I was like, I decided to like show you what my like weapon attacks did, and lots of my attacks, like basically my character can go into a rage.
Yeah, you have like the demon fury or something.
Yeah, it's like
that.
the demon fury,
Yeah.
whatever mode, and it basically puts me into like a rage type state, and then I can, like, I hit them and I like fly around in the air.
Yeah, which was fucking nuts. I'm sitting there like whacking him with a big heavy guitar, and you're just like just fucking soaring around his head.
Well, the thing is usually the way that it works for me anyway is that I pick either their tail or their head.
Yeah, reasonable.
And then if I can land an attack, I like will fling myself into the air, and then I'll hit them a few times in the head or the tail, and then like razor blade my way down their spine.
Right.
Which is like actually a big contributor to why we get so many like breaks.
Yeah.
Because I'm hitting them up and down their spine continuously.
Right. And that's the thing, too, is that, like, we eventually discovered through fighting a bunch of monsters that certain monsters have different weak points, and they have different weak points to different types of damage, whether it's bludgeoning or slashing damage. And so, like, we, like, can target different areas and hit those areas repeatedly with our weapons. And, like, it actually causes them to break. Like, parts of the
I knew you
monsters
could
will
cut
break
off things' tails.
I didn't know that. I was when we were fucking fighting the Rathian and
the tail popped
and you
off.
slapped the tail off. I was like, it doesn't have a tail anymore. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's on the
I
ground.
was like, and then you could get parts from it. I was like,
Yeah.
that's nuts.
You can pick the tail up.
That's so cool.
But that's the thing is you can also like, there are things that are like less visual and they just tell you that it's a break.
Yeah. Right.
But like as
the
you
little
start,
piece glows on the ground.
yeah. But as you're like killing them, like they get like roughed up and they change in appearance, and like horns will like smash, and like different pieces will like start to actually like not be on the animal anymore. But the one real differential is that sometimes they have this like huge tail that you can actually like cut off of them, and it'll like fly off somewhere into the battlefield, and you can like actually go over to it and like take the tail.
And like a good example of it, the Bishaten. It grabs when it throws the fruits, it picks up the orange fruits that it throws at you and just like slows you down. It grabs those with its hands. But the purple ones, the poison ones, it grabs those with its tail.
Yeah.
And when you break the Bishaten's tail off, it can't grab the poison fruit anymore.
Right.
You can't get poisoned. Which is awesome. Like that's
And the Bishaten's super cool. It's like a big monkey with a beak. It's like a monkey bird.
Yeah, it's like a monkey wyvern kind of thing.
Yeah.
These monsters are so cool.
They're really cool.
Like, yeah,
I was just looking them up.
You like anyone who is remotely interested in this game should go look them up. But like the best way to describe it is like think about monster hybrids from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then make them like 50 feet tall.
And then fight them.
Yeah, and then fight them.
But that's the thing too, is because we're sitting here, and Ken, or maybe it was me, or we were. I think you were playing your village quests, which are quests that you have to do by yourself.
Yeah, the solo missions that I didn't start my 1-star solo missions until we were like 2/3 of the way through the game. Because fuck that. Like,
we were playing together a lot.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That sun's up. You're tired.
Yeah, the sun's up. I'm sleepy. But we were playing, and then suddenly we were like, we're running around this map, and I got into there's like this one map in the swamp, and there's like a giant pyramid, or like it was like an Aztec kind of pyramid, like the square type pyramid.
Yeah, it had like a Mesoamerican kind of feel to it. Yeah.
And I was just fucking around, and I got into it.
Which I didn't know you could do. That's crazy.
Which I didn't know I could do until I got into it. I climbed it, and I got inside, and I was like telling you about like what was inside of it, and you're like, does this game have lore?
Oh my god! Yeah, that was because that's the thing. Is like you know me, you know I'm a lore buff.
Yeah.
And I was like they're fighting all these monsters, and it's like you're in this village, and like there's not like that's the thing. It's not a very lore heavy game up on its front. You can pretty much just get in there and fight some monsters.
It's got lots of lore, apparently.
Yeah, well, because the thing is, like, the pyramid had all this weird stuff inside of it, and you're like, I wonder what all this is connected to. And apparently, like, and that was kind of my theory, too, is, like, well, there must have
because you'd already been, like, I think you'd been sitting in the background and realizing that there's a bunch of, like, ruins, and there's a bunch of, like...
Yeah, there's ruins, but nobody in the ruins. So whoever owned those ruins is probably dead.
Well, that's the thing, too, is I probably would have seen those ruins and just been like, oh, the people in this village probably either used to have a bigger area and, like, used these.
Sure.
And then got pushed back by the animals that were, like, they call it the rampage when, like, a bunch of, like, monsters will come and try and attack their village.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they probably just, like, ran them out and destroyed these places, and then that's that. Now they just live in Komora Village.
Right.
And there's a bunch of ruins. Not the case.
Yeah.
I don't know all of the lore for this game in particular, but the lore kind of spans over the entire universe, I guess.
Because like the multiple Monster Hunter games have taken place over multiple time periods and in different parts of their world.
Yeah, so there's it's all one lore overall.
Right.
Even though each game, like, has their own.
Yeah, and that's why different games have different monsters, too, because different, like, parts of the world have different creatures.
And why some of them are the same and why some of them are different.
Right, yeah, because some things migrate, some things don't.
But, the one thing in particular that you were telling me about was that there used to, like, before this time, there was, like, a giant war between humans and dragons.
Yeah, so apparently there was an ancient civilization that existed, like, well before this, and this civilization had high technology, and they were using technology and magic in some cases to kind of, like, allow them to live in dominion alongside some of the, like, the monsters, and there's some of the monsters in this world are incredibly intellectual, like superhuman levels of intellect on top of being like a 50-foot tall flying thunder dragon.
Right.
Like, all of these things were happening in the world, and the advanced human civilization started, like, basically messing around with the balance of nature by starting to use dragons as a resource for their technology. They started making these, like, golems where there was magic in the blood of dragons, and the golems ran on magic. So they would allow the golems, like, the golems would give them the ability to, like, jump inside of the golem and fight against these giant monsters to protect their territories. But the golems basically ran on dragon blood.
Yeah.
So they had to hunt dragons with the golems to get more fuel for the golems.
Right.
And it became this, like, over-hunting where the humans started to turn the tide against nature, and their societies flourished because they were able to stop the dragons from over-hunting them. But that pissed off the dragons and started this, like, centuries-long war between high-technology humankind and dragonkind. And ultimately, the dragons ended up kind of winning out over time.
Right.
Wiping out a lot of these old, like, civilizations, destroying a lot of old technology and rendering them ruins.
Right.
But, like, all the weapons and stuff, like, that's the thing is, like, it's, like, kind of a fantasy setting, but, like, they have, like, oh, this is a sword and shield, but, like, the sword charges up with magical energy, and you can slam the shield on top of it, and it morphs into an axe.
Well, it's also
like,
why they have... That's also why they have bow guns.
Right.
Because, like, basically humanity kind of got wiped out. Not completely, obviously, because some humans still exist.
Yeah. Civilization got destroyed.
Yeah. And so now you're, like, in a village setting for most of the time.
Right. Last pockets of human civilization.
Right.
Yeah.
With odd, like, high-tech bits of technology.
Yeah.
And it's because humanity kind of, like, rose back from the ashes with these bits of technology. But now they're using it properly where they're, like, not over-hunting. They're just kind of protecting themselves.
Right. But that was the interesting thing, too, because I kind of, like, glossed over that line early on in the game. But when they introduce you to Hamon, who is the blacksmith who makes all your weapons and armor
Yeah.
for you. They say, like, yeah, this is Hamon. He's the resident blacksmith of Kimura Village. He's an expert in the ancient ways of weapon and armor construction.
Yeah.
Because he studied the manuscripts and blueprints that historians and ruin divers found in the old ruins.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how they're like, oh, we added a new weapon to the new Monster Hunter. It's an old piece of technology that was discovered from a ruin that we bring in now, and now blacksmiths are learning how to make it.
Right.
And that's kind of like how their culture evolves. It's like these people are like surviving against the vastly more powerful monsters by utilizing the technology of their ancestors.
But also,
it's neat.
I think my favorite part was that there are these like god tier dragons and like other like that
Right.
and
I gotta look this one up.
I can't remember his name. Ken's probably looking it up right now.
I know this.
Fatalis.
I'm obsessed with this dude.
He was really fun because I think he was part of the reason that humanity got wiped out.
Yes.
Because he was super fucking pissed that people were like killing dragons and wearing them and like killing dragons and like turning them into golems. Like they were like mass killing dragons. Like they needed like the blood of like 50 to 500 dragons to fuel these golems, depending on which one that they were like making or using. And so eventually he got fucking tired of it and he started slaughtering humans and then like adhering their corpses to his scales to like make armor out of humans the way that humans made armors out of dragon. So it was like and you fight him in I think it's Monster Hunter World.
There's a few of them. He appears in let's see. He was a secret boss in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. And he's in Monster Hunter 4, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, Generations Ultimate, Iceborne, and Stories.
Okay. It was Iceborne that he's in.
Yeah. Iceborne is the PS4 one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like the final boss, I think.
But the dude's fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's this super intelligent and extremely scornful black dragon who was like furious at the idea that humans were overstepping their boundaries and like turning his brethren, what he sees as perfection, as dragon kind, into like basically just like meat puppets.
Clothes.
Yeah,
meat puppets.
clothes, armor, weapons, and started like in mockery of that tradition, just wearing the mortals he killed as trinkets, and like he would like make jackets out of like the skins of villagers that he like conquered.
Yeah.
And that's so fucking metal. And that's the thing too. The neat thing about Monster Hunter Rise that I'm excited about is they already promised for us way ahead of time. We're getting at least 3 content updates. We're getting 3 big DLC patches. And the first one, they already talked about they're adding 2 monsters in. We're getting 2 brand new monsters with the first new update. They're going to add more. That motherfucker, they could throw him in there.
They could put anything in there.
Yeah. Oh my god, could you imagine fighting an apex of him in a rampage?
Oh my god.
Disgusting.
Well, I don't know if they'd make him. They'd have to make him Apex to begin with. They can't make.
Well,
a
yeah,
second.
he's like a god tier monster. Yeah, that's fair.
But that was also my favorite thing is that each game gets their own set of like boss dragons, pretty much.
Sure, yeah. I didn't know other games had boss. Well, I mean, I knew Fatalis, but
Well, the thing is in this game, they have. We just got to. This is a spoiler, so if you are playing this game, stop listening for a few minutes.
Yeah, if you care about the lore, then just don't listen.
When we started the game, they like give you a cutscene, no duh, and they have it end by you like look off into the sky because you see something, and there's like this weird wibble wobble in the sky that you can't really make out, but you can kind of see its movement, and I was like, that's probably like something you gotta fight. That's like a monster. There's something out there. And I don't know if you or Brandon really noticed it.
I didn't. I had to go back and watch the cutscene. Again, because I did not notice that.
But I was like, no, that's something that you have to fight. And I don't know what it is, but it's probably a dragon. And also, I don't like how it's moving. And then we fought our first rampage, which was just like one of those onslaughts where you like defend your gates. And then they give you a cutscene afterwards where you actually see it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the thing from the beginning. And you were like, what? And I was like, that's the thing you saw in the beginning. And it's like wibble wobbling and like being like super creepy. I don't like it.
It's got like an upside down body kind of.
It's like swimming like a goldfish, but it's like got this like huge like duck maw. Like it's like, and it's like, I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah. It's super cool.
But it speaks through one of the NPCs somehow. And and then it leaves, and you're like, that's something you gotta fight in the end. That's probably like the big boss.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sure it's one of the big bosses or like one of the lead ups to the big boss. But I was but you didn't hear what it said. And I'm like, it's saying, my queen, where is my queen?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so it's probably a baby boss.
Yeah, it's probably the boss on the way to the queen.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to know who its queen is.
Yeah, that's the big boss.
That's the big boss, whoever its queen is.
God, I want to fight it so bad. It looks so ridiculously challenging.
Yeah. That's the thing, too. I literally woke up this morning and I was like, man, we haven't played Monster Hunter in a while.
Oh, I plan to this week. We're going to play some Monster Hunter. I knew what fire I was planning to ignite with this. Oh man, yeah, that's the thing too. Like there are a lot of monsters we fought. We're already in tier 5, and Hunter rank 4 and Hunter rank 5, for the most part, I think there's one exception at this point. Have duplicated monsters. Mm-hmm. You go into the high rank after you complete 3-star hunts, and you do like the really big like. There are some genuinely very challenging monsters that you have to fight in and on your way to 3-star.
Oh yeah, like the fucking what the fuck is it called?
Magnamalo. The flagship monster.
Oh my god.
That thing, we tried that. We must have fought it 6 times.
Oh yeah. That thing's terrifying.
Yeah. So it's this giant like kind of purple gorilla dragon thing.
It is definitely a big cat. It is not a gorilla.
Yeah, no, cats. It's like a panther dragon. No, that's more Nargacuga.
It's like a tiger.
It's like a tiger dragon.
Yeah.
But purple. And it lives in the lava caverns, which when you find it, it's your first time going to the lava caverns.
Right.
So, like, there's fucking lava all around you. So, like, don't step in that.
Yeah. I was running around that map, and, because we were trying to find it, and...
I remember that.
They don't tell you where anything is, like, all the monsters, especially when you enter a new tier, which when you're fighting Magnamalo you are.
Yeah, that's your first step into tier 3 monsters, yeah.
So everything is a question mark on the map, so you kind of know where the monsters are, but you don't know who's who, or, like, exactly how to get around the map. And so we split up to go and try and find everything and see what was going on. And I'm just running along this giant fucking crag filled with magma.
Yeah.
And I
just
kept...
pure magma and a couple of rocks to stand on.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there going, ah! 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 And they're like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, it's lava! And it was so funny because eventually you guys also got to that point where you're like, oh god, it's lava, it's right there. And I'm just like, yeah, that's why I was screaming.
Yeah, that shit was
because
fucked.
You're about to fall in the fucking lava.
Yeah. I got real good at my wire bug right then. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, I have 2 options, either sink or get good. So I guess I'll get good.
Which is so fun because you're fighting Magnamalo and he fucking throws you off into lava.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah,
get out of the lava.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that like he's this really neat boss, and he does there's a cool thing like it. They started playing around with elemental like resistances in this, and he like gives off these deep purple flames that are called blight. Mm-hmm. And his in particular is Hellfire Blight.
I don't think anyone else has that. Everyone else has like an elemental.
They have different blight. Like one of the monsters has like I think Mizutsune has water blight, but
Well,
it
that's
does different things.
Well, that's
the
the
blights
thing.
are different.
I don't think anyone else's blight is as intense, is what I'm saying.
Oh no, yeah,
because
I don't think there's anything worse than his blight. Yeah,
having a blight is like being affected by an element for a period of time.
Yeah.
And every time I've had water blight or something like that, or even like
You're
thunder
like
blight,
slippery.
I'm like, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I barely notice I have it.
Yeah.
But when you get the Hell Blight from Magnamalo,
Yeah.
he can make you blow up and die instantly.
So the way that Hellfire Blight works is that if you then get hit with a physical attack, especially with a fire element physical attack, it then explodes and you take the damage you would have taken again. So we were like geared the fuck up. We were suited up, ready to go. We had everything we needed to start to take down this Magnamalo. And if he put Hellfire Blight on you, and then he would like slide back into this big wind up and then jump across the map with his claw out. If he scratched you while you had the blight on, instantly dead.
Oh yeah.
You just exploded. You were done. It doesn't matter how well suited you were. It didn't matter what you had on you. You were fucking gone.
Also, who
and
was
that
it?
was amazing.
Was it you or Brandon? Because there was a time where I got blighted twice and just murdered.
Yeah.
And it's because when I got blighted, the way you could get rid of it with a wire bug, you'd either have to roll around on the ground.
Yeah. Or if you have the blight on you, you could wire bug in a direction and then it would pull you and the blight would stay and create an orb.
Like turn into a little bomb, basically.
Yeah. Which he can hit and take damage.
But also gets more resistant the more he hits it, so it's like, what the fuck?
Right, exactly.
But regardless, if I got blighted, I would have to put my weapons away.
Right.
Which is a button. I'd have to put my weapons away first, and then wire bug away. But if I was also dying, like almost about to die, I needed to heal or I would just die anyways.
From the burn from the blight, yeah.
So... I'm trying to, like, run away from this thing so I can heal and then wire bug. And then I, like, before I even put my weapon away, I would just get smacked and die.
Yeah.
And...
because he's quick as fuck. And...
somebody was like, well, just wire bug. And I'm like, I can't just wire bug.
Yeah, it's a process.
It must have been Brandon. Because Brandon can wire bug all he wants. He doesn't have to put his weapon away.
Yeah, that's one of the weird benefits, I guess, to this. Because every weapon has their
every
own
weap's
thing.
different.
Yeah, like, one of the big benefits to his sword and shield is that there are certain items he can use without putting his weapons away.
Mm-hmm.
Wire bugs being among that. He can wire bug around and like move around the battlefield quickly without having to sheath his weapon. I have to sheath my weapon. I think mine is obviously that my weapon does buffs. Your weapon, I think the neat thing about it is that all of your wire bug moves only cost you one wire bug charge instead of two.
Well, that
so
and
you
I'm
can wire bug more often.
It's one thing we don't like really point out really a lot either, but I think I'm faster than both of you.
Oh, there's no doubt in mine. Yeah, I've got a 45-pound mallet. Like, yeah.
Well, also with Brandon, like he's pretty fast too.
Yeah.
But like a lot of my special abilities say that I'm faster.
Yeah.
And like they
and all
give
of your,
me speed things.
All of your things are like self buffs that make you move faster and hit harder and jump higher. You're like,
yeah. And like hit more. Like when I roll down their spine and like give them a bunch of smacks.
Yeah.
It's like 10 hits, like from head to tail.
Yeah. So you just deal a fuckload of damage.
I basically turn into like a sideways Beyblade and just hit them along.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
But what was the point of this? Oh yeah, so I couldn't just put my shit away, and I kept dying. And Brandon's like, just wire bug, and I was like, I can't just wire bug.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not that easy. That's the thing is that like Magnamalo was like he was a road stop. Like Magnamalo is that boss in the game where it's like, here you've had a couple of like full tiers of content to learn the game.
Now find something hard.
Now. Master the game's mechanics, or you're not gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Like the rest of Tier 3 wasn't that bad.
It wasn't as bad as Magnamalo at all.
Yeah, because when it came down, it was like Magnamalo was the test. It's like you're not gonna be able to beat this game if you don't understand the mechanics you need to understand to beat Magnamalo.
Right.
And we beat Magnamalo, and then after that, it's like, oh no, we know how to do this now.
Yeah, we know how to play the game.
After that, like we were like buffs were always on. We were around the weak points. We were like using the Dango buffs before the match to like target
we always
the enemies.
were, but,
well, yeah,
but
like
to like really use them.
yeah, target elemental resistances. Like we were using the environment to our advantage. We were wire bugging all the time. We were trapping all the time. Like we figured out what mechanics we needed to beat Magnamalo, and then realized, oh, that's how you play the game.
Yeah, I do remember that was where
That was the turning.
I started handing out traps to you guys because
Yeah.
I was like, we need as many traps as we can possibly have. I can only carry one of each kind. Anyone can. No one can. Oh, everyone can only carry one of each kind.
Yeah.
And so I had like, I like traps. I use like most of the gadgets.
Yeah, you're definitely like the techie of our group for sure.
So I had a bunch of them already. So I was like handing you guys traps, and I was like, just use these. Like if you can't get away from him, put a trap down. Like
Oh, yeah, if you can't run, just put a shock trap down and then go heal.
Yeah, and run. But that's where we like really fine-tuned everything. There's something I was gonna say and I can't remember it now. It had to do with Magnamalo. Oh, if there's one thing that I would suggest if anyone's fighting Magnamalo, like is actually playing this game.
Oh, yeah, if you get to this point, which we highly recommend, play this game. It's so good.
Be aggressive.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Because that was our main problem. Like, we fine-tuned everything as best as we possibly could.
We
and
still lost.
We were still losing. And the thing is it took us to that point where we were like, fuck it, let's just get him. And if it doesn't work, we'll just do it again. Because that's how we've been doing it up until this point. Like, we've been trying our best and losing. So we're just gonna fucking throw everything at the wall. And if it doesn't work, then we'll regroup and strategize and figure out how to do it again. And that one worked. Like, when we...
Yeah.
I think the thing was I was really afraid of getting close to him. I don't know about you and Brandon.
He literally insta-killed us a lot.
But I was terrified of getting actually close to him.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, fuck it. If I die, I die. And I just, ran up to him.
That's what we're doing anyway. So, nothing's going to change if I go smack his ass.
So I spent most of that game on his ass and flying from tip to tail.
And that's the thing is that aggression really is key because the whole premise of the game is that the monster is bigger than you, it's stronger than you, it hits harder than you, it's faster than you, it's more resilient than you. If it slaps you, you go flying. If you slap it, you're gonna have to keep hitting it if you want it to look like it's feeling anything.
Yeah.
You don't just you're never on an equal footing with the monster. So the trick is find the way to handle it. You use every resource you have at your disposal to turn that tide and close.
Play
that
dirty,
gap.
use the bombs that blind it, like sonic bombs or the flashbangs. Put it in the ground, use a trap, just stop its moving.
Yeah. And that, but your point is really the key. Be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
The monster is bigger than you and stronger than you. Hit it as hard as you can, as much as you can, and don't give it room to react to you. Mm-hmm. We were letting it, we were getting hit, and then we got hit too much, and we got nervous, and we rolled back, and we let it kind of move back and get positioning space, and start using some of its abilities. No, keep it, smack it into the ground, keep it on the ground. Mm-hmm. Just play aggressively, and that's how you win.
I think that's how I was phrasing it when we were fighting Magnamalo. Is everyone was panicking, and so we would back off and let it because it would get to the point where we were about to as you fight it, it gets angrier, and it gets more desperate, and it starts to
supercharged, and purple flames starts
to thrash around. All the monsters do this.
They all have their own buffs
but for him, it was really noticeable because he was he's fast, and so he's zipping around and throwing fire everywhere.
When he gets the vibrant violet flames all around the outside of his body, and he's hypercharged. And then that first time when I saw him fucking leap into the air,
really high up,
and then just fucking rocket dive like a meteor at me, I was oh no.
Well, that's what I was
that's not good.
We would
don't do that.
And that's the thing is, lots of the time when he would do that, we would back off of him, and the thing was we shouldn't have been doing that.
No, you need because that's apparently you can make him drop that form by hitting him.
Yes. But we were like
Whoops.
just backing off of him and being
We're
freaked
like,
out.
no, I'm
And
good.
one of my favorite things was the first time we like went to the corners of the map and we were like healing ourselves while he was like flailing around in the middle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let him cry it out.
Yeah.
Let him just let him wear himself
Yeah, we're
out.
sitting there like speed chugging potions, like, oh god.
But do not let him cry it out.
No, yeah, you gotta just keep wailing.
Put the baby down.
Interesting subtopic. What of all the monsters that we've seen,
Mm-hmm.
which one do you think is your favorite?
Which one do I like most?
Yeah. Which ones like stick out to you the most?
I like,
And like describe them a bit for the audience too.
I think I like the Bishiten and Mizutsune.
Oh yeah, Mizutsune kind of has like a. How would you describe it? It has kind of like a.
It's like a fox serpent.
Yeah, kind of.
Which is weird because I hate water creatures, but he's like feathery, and it almost
Yeah.
looks like a flower. It kind of looks like an orchid.
Yeah, he kind
but
of has like
feathers?
it's like an orchid lizard thing going on. Yeah, he's really beautiful. I like that one a lot.
But it's really pretty. And also I really like that through the fight as it gets hurt, like when you fight it to start with, it's like I said, like an orchid. It's like white and like light pinks, and it's like very pretty, and it like looks like flower petals, and it's
Yeah.
like really pretty. But as it starts getting hurt, it starts turning like very like ombre-ish, like very like
Yeah.
it like as it transforms in colors, it turns like a darker pink and then like purple and like
Yeah, like it actually like,
reds
changes
and
color
stuff.
as it takes damage.
Yeah, it like starts getting hurt and starts like changing color, like it's like dying, and it's like super pretty but also super neat to see.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
And also the bubbles were freaking you guys the fuck out, which was
Yeah,
hilarious.
because I was like slipping around, like I was standing still and I'm like sliding to the side because that's what the bubbles give you water blight, and water blight just makes so you can't stand still.
I never noticed it because I'm always moving.
Oh, see, for me, where it's like, because I'd go to do like a big swing, and then I'd be like next to his tail, and I'm like, I gotta go back. I had to start aiming for the stomach so I could hit the tail.
See, I'm always like doing crescent moons around these things.
Yeah. Well,
so
that's the thing. I don't think it affected you as much.
I don't think
it just
matter.
kind of helped you move.
Yeah. Like, so I never noticed it. I'm always trying to get to this thing's
it was-
tail or its head, and if I
It was
am
fucking me right up.
near its head or its tail, as long as I land a hit and I start flying around, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or at least I haven't noticed it. But also Bishiten, I really
monkey
like.
bird.
He's a monkey bird. You talked about him recently too. He's really pretty.
Yeah. So like that pale, like soft, like blue-white fur.
It's like blue. He has green and blue feathers, and they're
Yeah.
really pretty. And also, what is it? He has this fun thing where, like we were saying, where when you hit them, they drop things, and like you can grab little things in the battlefield. He has this point where when you hit him, he like throws a bunch of shit on the ground, and it's like you get to run around and like grab all these berries he drops, and it's I don't know, that's kind of like just really fun.
Yeah, no, it's super neat because he drops all that stuff.
Why? What ones do you think are your favorite?
Oh, that's a great question. I actually think when we first hit 3-star, I had to go for the Nargacuga.
I knew you were gonna say Nargacuga.
Nargacuga was like one of the first parts I needed for my new armor set. I love how simple it is. It's basically like kind of a panther wyvern.
Yeah.
Like wyvern in like the traditional like European or like fantasy mythology sense of wyvern, where it's like it is a dragon but it doesn't have front legs, really. This one does, I think.
The thing is, it's basically just if you imagine a panther,
Yeah.
but like you put wings on its front legs
Yeah.
and give it a longer, spikier tail.
And like a more lizard like than cat like body, but with cat like mannerisms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was so neat. It's like it moves like really gracefully around the battlefield. Lots of jumping, lots of like fast gliding, and like
We've only ever fought the Nargacuga twice.
I know I really want to fight it more. I enjoy that monster a lot. I don't think it is my favorite monster. Magnamalo is definitely up there.
Well, yeah, but everyone likes Magnamalo.
Gasharag, the giant like ice bear that shoots the frost beams and makes like like icicle swords on its arms.
Oh, you like the Gos
That
Harag?
thing's fucking cool. It's not my favorite, but that one's really cool.
What is your favorite?
My favorite.
I didn't ask you which ones you thought were cool.
Well, yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about which ones
No,
I thought were cool anyway.
I'm just being sassy.
I know, you're right. I think my favorite, honestly, I think it's Zinogre.
Zinogre?
Yeah, Zinogre's kind of similar to Magnamalo, but with a lightning element, and kind of like a
Oh, you like... okay.
like a blue-yellow.
Zinogre's also kind of like Big Cattish.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go pull it up. It's classified. There's a bunch of different like classifications of it. It's classified as a fanged wyvern.
But that's the thing, though, is I watched all the entrances for these, because each of them get their own, like, little video.
Yeah.
And anything that has wings, they count as a wyvern. Even
Right.
if they don't fly. Like, and that's fine, I guess. But, like, literally, like, I'm pretty sure Nargacuga, who doesn't fly, looks mostly like a cat, except he's kind of got the mannerisms of a wyvern and has 2 wings. Like, otherwise, he's basically just a panther.
Yeah.
They call him, like, a wyvern, and
Yeah,
he's
he's like
not a wyvern. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. They have like different versions of that. It's like a fanged wyvern or like just like a great wyvern or something like that. That's his monster class. He's like thunder elemental, and apparently his title, because all the monsters have a title, he is the Thunder Wolf Wyvern.
the Thunderwolf wyvern?
Yeah, he is a quadrupedal. Yeah, it's described as a quadrupedal monster with superficially lupine features. It has highly developed limbs, sharp fangs, and claws. Its forelegs are extremely powerful and can kill prey in one brutal blow. Despite its hulking size, Zinogre is very agile and able to perform many impressive aerial and land-based maneuvers. The spikes on its body mostly lie flat, but when it is built up an electric charge, they stick vertically out into the air. Yeah, it's super neat. It's very similar to Magnamalo, but like is like a giant electrically charged like.
I never even noticed he was supposed to be a wolf.
Yeah, he's more wolf like than, and he does that really fucking sick move that he did once, and it scared the ever loving shit out of me. Where he like dashes past you, but then stops a little bit, and then he can do a backflip and slam you with his tail. And that shit's scary.
They have figures of him.
They do? I
Yeah.
would love that. His armor set looked so cool. I'm still wearing the Zinogre plate and the Zinogre
look at him.
helmet right now. Oh, shit. Oh, did you see the price on that? It's
Uh,
$1,200.
Oh, I could buy it with my tax return.
Hell yeah. Let's get ourselves a fucking, like, pristine Zinogre figure.
Yeah, $2,000 an ogre figure instead of paying for any of my bills.
You know what? Bills are stupid. Zinogre is really neat.
Is this real?
Is what real? What is it? What'd you find now? Wait, what? No, it is not.
That can't be real.
Is
an ogre Funko Pop?
Funko Pop? Wait a minute.
No, give me my phone back.
Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. That better be real.
If it's real, I'm buying it right now on air.
Absolutely. You gotta buy that on air. Are you kidding me? That's nuts.
Zinogre Funko Pop?
Do they actually have Monster Hunter Funko Pops?
Zinogre Funko Pop was the first thing I bought. It's real!
Oh my fucking god. Yeah, absolutely.
It's $34.
It's $34? That's nuts. They have Rathalos.
Oh, it's so cool. It has 2 sets of teeth?
Can you change them out?
What? No, not the, like, it has 2 sets of teeth. Like,
Oh, it has two
not
different
it has
rows
2
of...
teeth
yeah,
I can
yeah,
choose
yeah.
from. It's got 2 rows of teeth.
Yes, it definitely does.
There's no way we can't put this on the screen so people can see it, though, because
No,
how much are
we will
freaking
make
out
a point.
about it.
Yeah, they have a whole series.
They have, like, little hunters that you can buy.
Yeah, I actually just found that. They have a Hunter, they have Zinogre, they have something called Frostfang from one of the earlier games.
Oh, they have
and they have Rathalos.
They also have the little felines.
Oh, you mean like the palicos that aren't like your companions?
Yeah,
like
there are
wild
wild
felines?
palicos that attack you on the map and stuff. That's really cute.
That's amazing. I didn't know they had. They're from GameStop.
They're from GameStop.
I guess you can get them as GameStop. I don't know, but That's crazy.
They're really cute.
Yeah, I love that.
All from just looking up the Zinogre.
Oh, this game is so good. Oh, that's another thing I was going to ask you too. About this game. What if you could pick any other weapon besides the weapon you're using? Which one do you think you would want to use?
God, I don't know. I'm not sure because I like my weapon.
What do you like about your weapon?
That they're fast and it's just 2 blades and.
See, that's the thing is, like, I think that, like, you prefer a much more simple, like, attacking style. You prefer to kind of, like, put most of your emphasis in your, in, like, just, like, doing the cool moves that you know well. Mm-hmm. But I think that if you were more of, like, I kind of want to experiment and do crazy things and get real good at my weapon, I feel like you would probably really like the Insect Glaive. Because it's very similar. It moves quickly. It's double-sided weapon, so you have like that 2-blade slashing pattern. It's basically similar to the dual blades, but it's also like very, very complicated to master. So I feel like if you were like really trying to be like, I want to like master something, I feel like you would enjoy the Insect Glaive. It's this.
I've heard it's really hard to master.
It is. It's probably one of the most complicated weapons in the game. For me, though, if I had to choose a weapon that was... See, that's the thing, is that, like, nothing in this game can do what the hunting horn can do. And I feel so confident in the fact that, like, one of the major differences between our group doing well in hunts and doing... Oh, that Rathalos Funko is so fucking cool.
Sorry, continue.
No, you're fine. One of the main difference in our hunts between us doing good and us doing great is having buffs.
Yeah.
Like you can emulate it to an extent with items, but also you can use the items with the hunting horn. So it's like, like I might just want to use the, like, I feel like I don't, the thing is like the hammer feels the closest to the hunting horn. The hammer is like, it's a heavy weapon with similar attack patterns that has stuns on it, which is the other backup thing about the hunting horn is when I'm not buffing the party, it's really good at knocking off parts with bludgeoning and stunning.
Right.
But the thing is, the hammer does what the hunting horn does a little bit better in terms of quantity of attacks and stuns. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Peach. But it doesn't buff. So I just don't think I would like it as much as I would like the hunting horn. If I had to pick another weapon, though...
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, because I've gotten used to the big, chunky weapons that are ridiculous, I think it might be the gun lance.
The gun lance?
I think I would... so the gun lance, again, similar to how the hunting horn is the hammer, but it has buffs. There is a lance. You get a shield and a lance. And you stab with the lance and then use the shield. Like, you bait the monster. You basically, like, stab it with the lance and, like, jab at it from a distance. And the monster comes in close and you can just kind of, like, tank it or, like, bounce some of its attacks to the side with your big, heavy shield. You're like a real MMO tank. The gun lance is similar, but it swaps out the defense of the shield for the fact that you can stab them and then click a button and then an explosion comes out of the top of your lance. Uh-huh. And then it sticks to them and, like, blows up a bunch of times. So it's basically just, like... It's basically like a rocket-propelled lance, but the rocket is on the front of the lance.
Oh, God.
What,
One second.
What's happening?
Peach has decided that since she can't fuck with her water bottle...
Yeah.
That she was gonna fuck with the string, like we said earlier.
Oh, did she pull it through?
The thing is, she got the string.
Oh.
You asshole.
Peachy.
Give me the string. Give it.
No, Mom,
I'm taking the string.
Oh, no, you pissed me off.
You pissed me off.
Oh, no. She's
okay.
Real feisty now.
But the thing is that...
What's up?
We... Sorry. That sounds like a good option, but also I think we've gone through trials where you've tried different weapons, and
then I just picked up the hunting horn again.
Well, you picked up the hunting horn again, yes. Yeah. But also, like, that was one of the things that where you're like, oh, I'm going to try a different weapon. And I'm like, man, but, like, then we're going to die faster. Like,
right, because I'm just trying a new thing. Yeah.
Well, not...
but also because I'm not healing and giving you guys defense.
There's no buffs.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool, we're just going to take full damage from all of it. And we're going to get affected by everything.
Right.
Like... It wasn't to a point where I'm like, no, don't use something different because meh. Yeah. It's like, you can use whatever the fuck you want.
Right. But it's like, the buffs are real good.
But those buffs are awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I think the moment you used the hunting horn and we realized how much smoother everything ran.
Yeah.
Because you were buffing everybody. Because we didn't even know if the buffs worked on everybody at first.
Right, yeah. I thought they might have just worked on me, but no, they were... Like, because every time a buff goes off, I get a message from you and Brandon that's just like, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, also the little, like, music notes fling around us, and so we were like, oh, no, they affect us, too.
Oh, yeah.
But we were like, this is awesome. Like, the test run we did with the hunting horn, done.
We fought the Arzuros, because you two were fighting it, and you guys couldn't beat it.
Yeah.
And then we went back, and I'm like, oh, yeah, let me just do, like, defense up real quick, and you guys were like, oh.
Yeah, done. Hunting horn finished. But then you're like, okay, well now I'm gonna try like the bug lance, and we're like, okay, and then like we went and fought the Lagombi.
Oh yeah.
Like the bunny thing that's like really fast. It
that was when I did Charge Blade. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way.
Because the insect lance on the Actoson.
But we like that fight took like twice as long. We still beat it.
It really did. It really did. It was not as smooth at all. And we used so many potions. When I first got my hunting horn that had the health recovery thing, and I remember I'm like, okay, this one heals, so like let's see how helpful the healing is. And we went into like a 2-star we had never done before, and I didn't use a potion.
Well, that's the thing is, you guys we finished the fight, and you're like, did you guys use potions? And we're like, oh no, we didn't. Because we don't need them sometimes.
Yeah, because I just kept regenerating us. Like, I just kept playing the healing note combination, and then we hit him.
But that's also something really funny that I've noticed, too, is that you and Brandon get so amped about that game sometimes.
Yeah.
That even when I'm the one that, like, cut something off or, like, hit somebody in the face and knocked them down, you guys are like, yeah, that was me.
Well, because the thing is, like, it's a problem too, because I literally, like, for whatever reason, when I'm really like invested in what I'm doing, and especially because I have to focus on both the monster and what part I'm hitting, since I deal more damage to certain parts and way less damage to other things. I have to focus on what part I'm hitting, and I also have to focus on what buttons I'm using in what order, so I can play my notes. So I'm never paying attention to what you two are doing.
Right.
And so like you'll do your spine thing where you roll back and then you end by slashing through the tail, and then the tail will come off. Yeah. And I won't see you in the air because I'm down low, and the only thing I'll see is me doing an overhead swing and then the tail coming off, and I'm like, yeah, I got the tail.
Well, that's I don't fight with you guys about it, so like it really doesn't matter. But it's so funny because like
I know, as far as I'm concerned,
I'm up, so I'm looking down, so I see you winding, and I see me cut the tail off, and then you swing a millisecond later, and you're like, yeah, I got the tail, I did it.
Well, it also cracks me up because I looked it up, and apparently like 99% of the time you cannot remove a tail with bludgeoning damage.
You can't.
I physically can't take the tail off.
You have to cut it.
I can take the horns off,
yes,
but I can't take
you
the
can
tails
smash them.
Yeah.
I normally can't take horns,
right? I can't
because I can't cut them.
Yeah.
But you can smash things horns off. So if it's the horn...
But I'm always like, I got the tail.
It's off, I
got the tail with my big guitar.
Yeah. Which is...
No.
I never said... I don't say anything. This is also the first time I've ever brought this up to him, so I probably just took him off guard, and I'm like, yeah.
No, I kind of... Because that's the thing, I looked it up. Like, afterwards, I'm like, oh... I guess I'm not actually taking the tail off, but it sure feels like I am.
Yeah, I don't care. It's something very funny.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, in the middle of battle, because that's the thing is I'm also paying more attention to where you and Brandon are, because I'm the one that's doing most of our like our techie items. Like I'm usually the one placing traps and doing bombs and like throwing. Everyone throws sonic things and does traps every here and again, but I also bring 5 of like all of the different things that help cure poison and heal us, like the life vials or whatever, where
like the dust of life, or the healing powders.
They're dusts. You throw them into the air and it affects all 3 of us. And there's one that like cures poison, one that heals you, one that like
increases everyone's defense.
And then one that does everyone's attack.
Demon drugs.
Which is
powders.
demon drugs.
Well, demon drug is the one for
yourself. I know, that's really funny.
That's some spicy dang.
But that's really funny because I realized that the one that ups your attack has the same kind of naming convention as all of my special abilities.
Your boosting attacks. Where you like go into your rage.
Because like they call it like. Some of my abilities are like the Demon's Dance or something like that. And then,
Demon's Dance, Demon's Flight.
And then there's like the Demon Mode in general. That's like my rage. But I bring 5 of all of each of them with me.
Right.
Because I have a backlog of fuckloads.
Yeah, me too.
So I bring 5 every time we go out. And so I'm making sure I'm near you guys. Or like
throwing the powders
and
down.
throwing them if we need them. So I'm much more aware of where all of you are on the battlefield,
right?
As opposed to you guys thinking about where I am, because I'm also everywhere. So like,
well, that's the thing is like I can't keep track of you for long enough to be able to functionally like keep your position in my train of thought.
It's not like it really matters either. But for me,
because I've tested the range. I literally like I got sent back to camp. And then I played a couple of like notes, and you guys got buffed. Like, I can buff you from across the map,
so it's not like a big deal.
Like
I've been really far away, and you've buffed me before.
It doesn't matter where I am. I can still hit you with my stuff, so it's fine. Maybe I don't hit the monster, but I can get you.
Right. But I'm much more aware of like the things you guys can you guys do, and where you are and what's happening on the battlefield. Just because I'm all over the place, and also I'm in the sky, so I'm like watching you guys.
That's also true. You do a lot of being in the air, which is also why I can't see you, because I'm never in the air.
Right. Yeah. Brandon's actually a little bit harder for me to keep track of because he's faster.
Yeah, that's true. Makes sense. Now, here's the thing, though. Do you think that in terms of damage output, do you think that you do more damage, or does Brandon do more damage? I know I do the least damage of the group, but that's just, I think that's how my weapon is designed. I have a couple of big hits and big stuns, but my overall damage per second is lower because I buff the party.
Yeah. See, I don't know. The thing is he does fewer hits than me.
Yeah.
But his hits deal more damage than
You're basically both DPSs. Your whole thing is how much damage can we deal in X amount of time.
Yeah. Like, I get more hits. They deal a little less than his.
Right.
He does a few less hits than me.
Yeah.
But they deal more damage than me. So I don't know who does more damage overall.
Each of you has your own niche, too, where each of us have carved out a niche. Like, I deal less damage, but my job is, like, big critical hit stuns to try to knock the monster down, targeting attacks, and buffing. Your thing is, like, using your forms to position around the battlefield, and, like, traps and stuff.
Yeah.
Brandon's thing is he also puts out similar amounts of damage to you, but while maybe he doesn't use as many gadgets as you do, he's the bait. When we need healing, he's the first one to drop a stink maker himself and then be like, all right, come here, big boy.
Yeah.
Like, he will hold the line, and because he's got the shield, too. So he'll just tank the monster for, like, a minute if we need to recoup and get things set up or put down traps or something. He's the bait when he needs to be, and he's really good at it.
That was also really funny, because I remember there have been points where both of you would die. Very rarely.
Yeah, but it happens.
And I'm fighting it alone.
Yeah.
And I'm doing fine. Like, I obviously don't do it how Brandon does it, where he does the stink mink and takes all of, like, the hits head on and, like, is actually, like, fighting it.
Because he's got the shield. He's like, he can tank.
I'm evading it and, like, doing, like, roll attacks where I can, and then, like, running away, and then, like, coming back to it.
You are a DPS fighter. You're a dexterity fighter. He's a strength fighter.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, I remember you guys are riding back, to the fight, and you're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." And then like you're almost there, and you're like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." Yeah. And then you guys are like, "Okay, we're back," and I'm like, "Good," but also like I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, because like that was the thing, is it was the three of us and it killed both of us, and I'm like, oh no, she's soloing it.
The only time I was ever actually worried about that was when it happened with the Magnum Hollow.
Well, yeah, because then you're just like, oh wait, was it you and just you against the Magnum?
Yeah, there was a point where it was just me against the Magnum Hollow, and I was like, really?
I don't want to do this.
I'm like, you guys are leaving me alone with the Magnum Hollow? Also, it was fucking ridiculous because there was one time where I died against the Magnum Hollow, and so I was coming back, and you guys were like, oh, it's running. And I was like, okay, where is it running to? And they're like, oh, it's running in your direction. And I was like, no. No. And so I was like, gonna try and get out of this cave system.
Yeah.
And then run to the side, hopefully before it ran into the cave.
Yeah.
But then I was like climbing up the little wall that leads to the cave exit, and then it showed up on the thing, and I was like, oh no. And then it like jumped over me, but like it wasn't attacking me, but it like kicked me.
Yeah.
And so it kicked me down and then landed on me. I'm like, it's attacking me! It's attacking me! But then it like continued and jumped off the other thing, and I'm running and screaming, and I'm like, it's down there, it's down there, it's down there.
Oh, that was a wild fucking fight, and like just like anyone who has played a Souls-like game, like anyone who's played Dark Souls or Bloodborne or Demon Souls or whatever, you understand that feeling when you are fighting a really, really hard boss. And you feel like no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to get its patterns down. You know that there's a way to do it, but you just haven't perfected it yet. That moment when we hit the Magnum Hollow
and it died,
and then it just went to like the quest complete thing, and like the half second of just pure shock, followed by just the most like rewarding sense of like
satisfaction.
Like we worked so hard to earn that W, and we got there, and it was like I think that's my favorite thing about Monster Hunter is like when you're fighting these monsters, when you score the kill, you just feel great about it. Like you really did it. Like it's a long haul to take some of these monsters down, and then it's done.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
The best thing about it too now is that like you said, we started doing our village quests by ourselves, which is because they're like the same quests as the ones you can do together,
right?
But you're supposed to do them alone.
Yeah.
Like I've been working on getting them up to the point where we're at together. And
I'm a bit behind there.
There's this thing, it's like the Great Jaggy, or it's the Aknasom too. There's like
with the bird, yeah.
One of them's like a raptor, one of them's like a bird.
Yeah.
And I've killed both of them on my own in 2 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
And before it used to take us like 15 together, so it's like, just like, it's so fun to go back and like see how fast you can do the old ones now. Absolutely.
Like just how much your technical skill with the game has improved as you continue to advance through it.
Right.
And the rampages too. Like that's a new thing apparently in this game.
They put it in to shake up the
gameplay, because instead of just always hunting monsters, sometimes you have these rampages, and they're basically tower defense games.
Yeah, which were really fucking hard. It took us like,
She's just scratching the corner now. There's nothing there. She's just scratching it.
She just wants... The thing is she doesn't do this unless we're recording.
Yeah.
Pidgey! She's being a little jerk.
I'm watching you. I see you. Oh my god.
Oh my god. She doesn't do this unless we record.
She's so mad that we're recording. Like, how dare we pay attention to something other than her?
And I don't understand how she knows the difference. Peach! I don't understand how she gets she knows the difference between when we're recording or not.
Yeah.
Because we do. We'll sit here and just talk to each other. And she doesn't do this. So I don't understand how she knows when we're recording, because she only does this when we record. Peach. I might take her out of the cage.
I mean, wow. That is prolonged. That is excessive, baby girl. What are you doing over there?
Girlfriend.
Oh, she's slumping. She's like got her chin down. She's like, Mommy won't pay attention.
Yeah, I can't drink.
Oh, I can't drink water loud. Oh, this is... They can definitely hear this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they have to be able to hear it. If they can hear me from the distance that's going off, they can hear her.
No, like,
yeah.
I'm afraid they can't hear me over it.
Oh. KJ.
One sec. Let me give her treats. Yeah, like, so you can see, that's it.
Oh, yeah, no. Ooh, those sound bites.
Little Peach.
All right, so anyway, while you're doing that, I guess I'll riff. Oh, yeah, give her snacks. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, there's just something so rewarding about...
Now I just want to play.
Well, that's kind of, see, that was kind of my master plan.
What, like, you wanted to play Monster Hunter today? So
we've taken a few days, like almost a week off of Monster Hunter, like to just do life and catch up on things. And so I was like, I kind of want to play a little bit of Monster Hunter this week. So I'm like, maybe I'll just make sure everybody's still on board and we'll talk about it. Like, we'll have a little fun with some Monster Hunter this week.
I've also wanted other people to join because we have...
Oh yeah, that's the thing. If anyone in the comments, because we do online a lot too. So if anybody is listening to this episode and you're like, damn, I really want to pick up this game, or if you already
But also,
have,
nobody wants to play with me. We have a party, like a hunter party of 3.
Yeah,
so
we could use a 4th. Like, give us your friggin' Switch friend code in the group chat, or in that group chat, whatever the hell it's called, the doobly doo,
the comments,
the YouTube thing. Yeah, put it in there. And we can add you, and if you're on, we could fucking form up a hunting party and go do some fun stuff. Yeah.
Need to fight the Magnamalo? We've already done it.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. We can do that for you. Absolutely. I mean, we may not be able to, like, communicate because we don't really have, like, online, per se, but...
Unless you have Discord. Unless you have us on Discord.
Yeah, unless you have Discord. Yeah, if you have us on Discord, too, then definitely. But woo. Absolutely. Like, we would love to play some more Monster Hunter. We got some cool new armor sets.
Get up to the... Didn't they say that the quests go up to level 7?
They go up to 7 stars, yeah. 7 stars is end game. We're at 5 now.
Yeah.
5 on hub quests. I'm at 3 on village quests.
I don't even know if I'm gonna get that far on the village quests. Like, the thing is
I want to eventually do all the village quests.
I don't really care. I did, but doing them alone is like... Meh.
Well, the thing is, now for me, they're quick.
They're quick. I'm not saying they're hard, and I'm not saying they're long. Doing them alone is just...
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I don't want to do them alone.
It's a very multiplayer game for me. That is not...
That's literally why I stopped playing Monster Hunter the first time.
Yeah.
Or why I lost interest in it and then stopped playing it.
Yeah.
Is because I didn't want to do the quests alone.
Right.
And everyone eventually got tired of playing, or like... We weren't old enough to like really get too committed into figuring out how to play it.
I'm never gonna get tired of playing. This game is fucking amazing. I want to play this all the time.
I didn't want to do my quests by myself.
Yeah. And
so I stopped playing the game. Like, if I wanted to do quests alone, I would just do them alone. And I don't really want to.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Like, maybe I will, like... But also, I'm not fucking fighting the Magnamalo by myself.
Yeah, that's fair. I kind of want to. I want to see if I can. I want to see if I can do it.
All that fear,
I have to know.
All that fear is going to come straight back. I don't want to...
Oh, God, yeah. I'm going to be crying the whole time, but I want to know if I can do it. If I can do it, then just, like, the immediate dopamine hit right to the noggin. Like, perfection. That's all I want. I'm chasing that high.
I wonder if Brandon's home.
I don't know if he is, but if he is, we should play some Monster Hunter. Which is probably a great segue into... We'll probably just call the episode here.
Yeah, all the distractions. We've kind of talked the topic to as far as we really can.
Yeah. I kind of want... I was going to turn this into a riff on, like my intention was to have this... I talk about Monster Hunter, like, turn into a talk about like some of our like the games that we've like gone deep into, but
like
we
a
pretty much
hyperfixation
just talked about
podcast.
Monster Hunter. Fully expected that to happen.
That's fine.
And I'm cool with that. This is a Monster Hunter episode now.
Oh yeah.
So into it. But yeah, so this is our really long and roundabout, completely unpaid by Nintendo or Capcom way of saying you should purchase Monster Hunter Rise for the Nintendo Switch.
Is that your recommendation for the episode?
Well, see, that's the thing. I kind of thought about it because I want to do a recommendation at the end.
Because we've also talked about how to do the recommendations, and by talked about how to do the recommendations, I told Ken how the recommendation system's going to work.
Yes.
Because last time was when we picked up the recommendation system.
Well, the time before that, but yeah.
Yeah, the time before that. And the very first episode, we both made a recommendation. He thought that's how it was going to go.
I did think that was the plan, yeah.
Even though I very clearly told you, no, that's not how that goes.
Okay, you're right.
It's I just drag you a little bit. But no, for Ken's episodes, which this is, he's going to make a recommendation.
Yes.
For my episodes, I am going to make a recommendation.
Yes.
For our group episodes, we are going to collaborate on a recommendation together. So Ken can recommend anything he wants, even if I don't like it.
Right.
Like, I don't have to agree with you on it at all. You can just recommend anything. Like, recommend shit in your pants. That's what you can recommend.
I won't recommend that, but I'm into it.
Mine, I can recommend anything I want. I want to recommend shitting your pants. Ken doesn't want to recommend it. I can recommend it.
You are more than welcome to recommend shitting your pants.
Group episode, like, we're gonna decide what we're gonna recommend. Shitting your pants, probably off the table. Ken doesn't want to recommend it, so we're not gonna recommend that together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So simple.
Okay, so I do have a recommendation for this episode. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a quick one.
Is it Monster Hunter?
It's not. Well, in a way, it's Monster Hunter, but like the episode's about Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So like that's not really it. I just wanted to do like a quick shout out thing. Anyone who knows me knows that one of the types of content that I view on YouTube the most, and that I enjoy watching the most, is reactions. I am basically just a machine that runs entirely off of other people's hype. And watching people get excited about things that excite me is one of my favorite pastimes. So I watch a lot of different reaction channels. Sometimes I will watch like multiple different reaction channels react to the same thing because I want that serotonin hit as many times as possible. So in particular, I would like to shout out a reaction channel that I have come to... a YouTube reaction channel that I've come to love that we started by discovering on TikTok, actually. So on YouTube, if you search Let's React, Letts React, two different words. It is a couple, Kenny and Montana. They are reacting to, I think... They have snippets of their reaction to Avatar: The Last Airbender, the whole series, which they started as a TikTok series. And it was chopped up into different parts of the episode, and then obviously TikToks are 1 minute long, so they don't post the whole thing, but they have like bits and pieces of it, and they react to key moments. And Montana had never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender before, but Kenny had. Neither of them have seen Korra. And their snippets remain the same on TikTok, but they are posting the full episode reaction, like 30-minute long episode reactions, to YouTube under the Let's React channel. And I've seen a bunch of them pop up. They're already on season 3. They're like dealing with Zahir, my favorite Korra villain.
Yep.
And they are basically just like machines of hype that breathe even more new life into the Avatar series. Like watching them react to things and guess about things is really exciting. So I
love watching people react to Avatar for the first time.
Me too, for sure. Because the normies did it too, and I watched them and I loved them.
Like showing Avatar to you. Was so fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, I would give anything for me to be able to watch it for the first time again.
Yeah, well, that's what it really is.
But I would give anything to watch you watch it again for the first time.
Yeah.
Because it's so fun.
Yeah. Oh, what? But that's the thing. Is that like if you want to relive that magic or get as close to you can as you can to reliving the magic of watching Avatar or Legend of Korra for the first time, totally recommend going to check out that and other reaction channels on YouTube because I mean it's just a nostalgia trip. It's a pure nostalgia trip all the way through.
But also, now Kenny is reacting to Attack on Titan.
That's right. He's doing it solo because I don't think she hasn't watched any of it. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if he wanted to. I didn't know if he. I think he thought that she might not be interested in it.
Sure.
So he's watching it through, and then I think he's gonna watch it with her.
With her, okay, sure. Because I don't think I've seen any of their Attack on Titan reactions on their YouTube channel. I have seen them.
I've seen it on TikTok.
On TikTok. Yeah.
I think they're gonna wait to watch it together when they're gonna upload their joint reactions to YouTube.
That makes sense. Yeah, it seems reasonable.
But
because
also,
they can do more with the reaction on YouTube. They have more of a runtime. Yeah.
do you remember how we found them?
How did we find them exactly?
It was when I was having my first really bad kidney stone of the year last year.
Oh yeah.
It was like right as it was like forming during Pokemon Go Fest.
Oh shit.
When I couldn't get off my back.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through TikTok and I started watching their reactions. They just came up on my For You page.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, she hasn't seen Avatar yet," and it was like one of the first
showing my girlfriend Avatar for the first time.
Yeah,
part 1.
It was like part 2 or something, and so I went back and I watched 1, and they had more. They just recommended me the second episode,
right? And
so I watched through as many of them as I could, and then I think you either saw me watching them, or I showed you them. But regardless, we went through and we watched like all of the episodes.
Yeah,
they're really fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And they just got an Alaskan Malamute, or I'm pretty sure, they named him Appa.
Oh yeah, because Appa's like one of my favorite characters, one of Montana's favorite characters.
Oh my god! Like, if you're not even gonna if you don't care about them, you should literally watch the episodes just to watch the period of time that Appa gets kidnapped.
Oh yeah, Appa's Lost Days.
Yeah.
Yeah, the absolute tearjerker.
Yeah, you should at least watch it for Appa's Lost Days because she is devastated. Like they buy her an Appa plush.
Oh, and then right because when Appa goes missing, he hid it.
He hides it for the period of time that Appa's missing for, and won't tell her where it is. Like not maliciously, like she she was in on it. Like he's like, I'm gonna take it and hide it, and she's like, okay.
Yeah, sounds right. All right, well, as always, thank you all for listening to us. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and check out some Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And then watch some reaction videos when you're done. Yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for listening, and as always, we love you.
See you next week. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.